Are you miserable entering sweepstakes? I know that sounds like a crazy thing to ask. My name's Carolyn, and I'm known as the contest queen, and I've taught others how to win millions of dollars in cash and prizes, and I can teach you how to be a winner too. And the reason I asked that question is because I got an email from someone that said they did not enjoy entering at all. They wanted to win the stuff, but the whole process of finding and entering and then checking the notifications was just not fun. It felt like a complete waste of time. They had done it for a month and they hadn't really won anything yet, because sometimes it does take time. We'll talk about that. And they were miserable. And I thought, so why are you entering? Most people want the end result without putting in the work. And I thought with Valentine's, because this is my end of January talk, so we're thinking about the month ahead, February, and we talk about love. Well, love encompasses a lot of things. In the English language, we use the word love to talk about our partner, and we use love to talk about ice cream and pizza, and we use love if we think something's funny, like I love that. We use the word so many different ways that I thought it was appropriate to use here, because if you don't love what you're doing as the hobby, and actually that covers any hobby, if you're not enjoying what you're doing in your spare time, stop. Just stop. There's no point in doing it, because the energy that you're putting out isn't going to bring you anything positive back, right? Because there's that old adage, you reap what you sow. So if you're sowing frustration, you're not going to get any fun back. It's like planting in carrots and expecting corn to grow. Yeah, that's not going to work. So I have the comments on. If you have any questions about this or anything about the sweepstakes hobby, I'll answer them, because this is my monthly sweepstakes Q&A. I did have a bit of a cold during the month. I still have a little wee bit. And so I'm drinking one of those vitamin C pouches just to keep up my fluids and my vitamin levels. Anyway, I did have a couple of questions sent in advance too, so we'll be answering those. But the reason I wanted to talk about it is because you really have to enjoy the entire process, or there's no point in doing it, right? And you have to feel like you're getting something out of it. I don't always enjoy going to the gym, but I do like how it makes me feel afterwards. And so I feel it is worth going. And I don't hate it the whole time I'm there. I'm not always a fan of getting up early or going out into the cold. But I do like being on my yoga mat. Those are my favorite activity at the gym. And all the stretching I get out of it and how I feel afterward is amazing. So of course, that's my incentive to go. So just like sweepstakes, I like the whole process. I've always liked the whole process, because to me, it's like treasure hunting, right? And I think it's the same archetype. I don't even know what to call the archetype, maybe treasure hunter, because I realized that my love of sweepstakes ties into so many other things that I like to do. Like I love to go thrifting, because I'll never know what I find, or yard sailing, going to yard sales, tag sales, those kind of things. I love to walk along the beach for hours looking at seashells and rocks and finding them. Love it. I could do that for hours. I've even thought one day I would love to get one of those metal detectors and see what I could find, because I like treasure hunting, right? You never know what you're going to find. And to the sweepstakes hobby, what do I do every summer? I go pin code hunting, because not only do I find codes and can possibly win, but I also find things that people put in their boxes that aren't actually recyclable. Like my daughter currently is doing a puzzle, a 1,000-piece puzzle, in pristine condition, I might add. All the pieces were in plastic bags. a perfectly good puzzle that she is doing that I found, and then we will donate it somewhere so someone else gets to enjoy it instead, because it doesn't get recycled. Actually, that ends up in the garbage. So you really have to love the whole thing. So because I have, like, I guess I'm going to call it the treasure hunter archetype. I read Carolyn Mace's book, she called Sacred Contracts, and she outlines all the archetypes. I don't know. I don't think there's a treasure hunter archetype in there. But what's really interesting is when I did read that book, I do have the gambler archetype, which is probably why I like sweepstakes. But thankfully, it's not tampered. It's kind of, well, maybe tamped down a bit, because I also have the miser archetype, which is, again, ties into the sacred miser, because I will spend money when required. Like, if it's worth it, I will happily spend the money. So I'm not the shadow miser, like Scrooge. That's the shadow miser. I'm the sacred miser. So I don't spend money gambling, and I'm frugal, which is probably also why I love sweepstakes, because you can go on trips for free or inexpensively. You can get gift cards and all kinds of things free showing up at your door. Love the free. So all these things kind of tie in, which is probably why I enjoy it. So I love sitting down, looking for the giveaways, on my sweepstakes site that I use, adding them to my system, entering them, going through the process, wondering if we're going to win. And I love the whole aspect of it. And I think if you don't like any of it, like the first part, you're not going to have the follow through, because yes, in back in the day when it was just in-person radio and mail-in, the rule of thumb was it takes 3 to 6 months before you start winning. So you really have to put in a lot of work before you see any results at all. But now, with so many online promotions and a lot of games online that are fun to play, that companies put in as part of their promotions, you can win instantly right now. Like, this could be the first time you see me, you think, I'm going to start entering sweepstakes. You go find an instant win giveaway on one of the sweepstakes site. You say, I'm going to enter that, and you could enter it and you could win. Your first thing, the first minute you enter, you win a prize. That is completely possible. It's rare, but it is completely possible. And so but it still takes time, because some of the ones I'm entering, like I just added one into my system today because I found it, and I think it ends February 18th. So if I start entering, so that's 3 weeks in February, 1 week in January. So that's a month of entering, basically 4 weeks. And then it closes. And then sometime in the next week or two, the agency that's running the giveaway for the sponsor will do the drawing and notify somebody. So I probably, if it's like, say I'm the grand prize winner, I wouldn't hear for a month. I wouldn't hear until the end of February. Easily. So there's a whole month from when I started to when I got notification. And that's a short one, like if I had just started the hobby. So it takes time, and you're filling the funnel, and that's just one of them. Some of them are long, some of them are short. I mean, I'm entering one that has different entry periods, and it finishes at the end of July. So you can enter once just automatically to the giveaway in every entry period. And then if you want to enter extra in between, you have to make a purchase of the product. So they're giving you one free no purchase entry in, and then you can go purchase the product and then submit the receipts. So I did that because I was in the grocery store and I saw it, and I'm like, hey, Lane, go grab me one of those drinks and I'll use it. But you have to be enjoying the hobby. So if I win that giveaway, I won't know until August, right? That's a heck of a long time, right? So you have to be this hobby requires patience. Just like going to the gym or starting a new health regime, you're not going to drop 20 pounds in one day. You're not going to be able to bench press 300 on the first day unless you happen to be very strong. Pretty rare, right? It's consistency over time equals results, right? So if you're entering consistency over a long period of time, you're going to see the results. It's not rocket science. So let me just check to see if Shopping Boy on Instagram asked, which drink contest is this? It's with Coca-Cola and it's Desante. Coca-Cola in both Canada and the US is frequently running giveaways. So I highly recommend going over to the Coca-Cola website and registering, setting up an account. So all their giveaways, you have to log into your account and enter. And right now there's 3 running for Canada. There's Vitamin Water, there's Desante, and there's Coca-Cola. And so it's good to have that. So actually I put the Coca-Cola website to check frequently in my weeklies to make sure to see if there's any new ones added. So I have their main promotions page and I check it once a week to see if there's any added. And then each promotion I save separately so I know when it ends in my online organizational system. Yes, exactly. Yvonne says, just by entering once, you have a chance to win. I do know people that have won a daily giveaway with 1 entry, even though everyone else has maybe got 30 entries because they entered for the whole month. And they had 1 and they still won because it's random draw. Let me just see if I missed any questions and then I'm going to continue on this. Oh, yes, my lucky green sweater. I was feeling the green today. I was thinking to change to the green glasses, but I left the blue because I was lazy. Oh, yes, I love entering sweepstakes. It's a joy that enhances my life. Me too, and that's why I love it. I have been entering sweepstakes. This would be my 25th year. Like, this is the year of so many anniversaries for me. It's the 20th anniversary of You Can't Win If You Don't Enter. It's the 20th anniversary of my newsletter. Technically, it should be the 21st, but I tell a whole story. When we were bankrupt, the newsletter service I was using was $300 a month. And so I canceled it. And then I didn't have a newsletter for a while. And then I found out if I had a small mailing list, I could use MailChimp. And so I signed up for MailChimp. And it's taken a long time, but actually I spend about $200 a month, which is why you get a lot of little emails from me because I try and maximize it. So I send 2 newsletters and then all the live stream updates and then the event updates. And that's why you get what you get from me. Now, one of my goals in 2026 is doing more videos and live streams. So, and I do it for 2 channels. So it's going to be good for that. So that's why there was a gap in that. So there was a whole chunk of time missing. So that's why it's its 20th year, even though it should be its 21st or 22nd, somewhere in there. Yeah. Well, life can sometimes smacks you in the butt, and that's what happens. And it's the 20th anniversary of Contest Queen, and she's getting a facelift. So the whole site has been remapped. Let me know if you find a 404 page. And it's slowly getting a facelift. And you will eventually see a new color scheme and a new logo. So that's what we're doing there. And that's why I love this hobby so much that not only do I like just entering, I love sharing it with others. And I love it when somebody, takes my advice and starts to win. And I get those, oh my gosh, I won my first prize, or I won this, or I won that. I love it. It just makes me, thank you. Oh, that's very funny. Treat Yourself says, I will do that. I drink way too much Coke. I tend to drink more Pepsi than Coke because, well, in the summer mainly, because Pepsi has the contest with the code on the lid. And so I'm buying it along with the pin code hunting because you got to support the sponsor. Okay, let me see if I missed any questions on Instagram. No. Okay. Let's see. Yes, lots of milestone anniversaries, like crazy. Like it's like 4 anniversaries this year. So also, I don't know if you've noticed, have you been reading my newsletters? Have you? Because I've been including exclusive subscriber giveaways in the newsletters. And the only way you can get the link to enter is to subscribe. Oh, not just subscribe, open the email and click the link. So if you're a subscriber and like to win, right now the giveaway is a book. So if you've got copies of The Winning Edge that I sent out on the 15th, you can win a book. And then February 1st is the next one. I think I'm also giving away a book because I think I didn't have time to think of something else because we've had a lot going on in January with all these anniversaries and book writing. And then I caught a cold. So then you can enter for that. So if you're not already subscribed to The Winning Edge, head over to my site. And if you click on get a free subscriber kit, you can click on that and you get a free sweepstakes starter kit. It's just a little booklet, which will also be rebranded in the redo. Do you think when you follow your heart, you manifest way faster? Yes. I just posted, so this is a little crossover to my Words for Winning, which is my manifesting and mindset channel. And I think it ties into the hobby of sweepstakes because you have to think you're a winner and believe you're a winner before you are. Because if you don't think you're lucky, you won't be. Right? Again, it's you reap what you sow. So if you're always expecting good things to happen, now life doesn't always, like I said, I went bankrupt and I didn't have a newsletter for a year and a half. I think it was the total amount of time. Life happens. But if you always assume that everything happens for a reason and that everything's happening for the highest good of all, be proanoid. Rob Brenzy, I think I pronounced his last name, wrote a book on pronoia. So you believe that everything that happens is always for your highest good, that the universe is conspiring for you, not against you, for you. It's a great way to go through life. So yes, I do think, and if you feel something like there's been times where I've entered a giveaway and my gut's like, oh, you're winning this one. Sure enough, I win. Yes, thank you. On Tuesdays, we have a Tagging Tuesday community. I don't know if there's a sweeper community. I'm going to assume there is. I haven't checked, to be honest with you, but I'm going to assume there is. Because on Sweepsheet, they have a conversation corner. And on iWin contest, they have a Discord group. And if there is a community on any other site, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know or don't remember. And that's where you can connect with other sweepers. And I bet they have sharing sections there. So I would check those 2 sites. That's the advantage of having those sites is that there's actually sweeper communities where you can help each other win. I believe they have voting sections, tagging sections. If you're stuck on something, if you're unsure of something, you can message the group or pick the proper chat and say, hey, I saw this, I'm confused, I need help. And sweepers will help each other. Because like I said, I only do this once a month, but I had somebody ask me a question about a US sweepstakes. I'm like, I don't know, I can't enter. You're going to have to ask Tom or Christy or somebody in one of those groups, because I don't even have access. Sometimes I've gone to check, like somebody sends me a link and says, hey, can you look at this? I can't even access it. And then sometimes I have to put on a VPN to even just go look at it, because I can't from Canada. So it's good to find the community. That's interesting. Julie says, there seems to be so many more comment entries on Instagram these days. I thought it was a holiday surge, but I think it's still happening. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that too. I did notice there was a lot of comment. I haven't been entering a lot because I've been focusing on finishing the website, finishing the book, getting my accounting done for 2025. I'm pleased to say that's another milestone for me. Since I've owned my own business since 1996, that's 30 years. This is the earliest I've ever finished my accounting for my accountant. And I'm just waiting on a couple more reports. So I will be taking him my box of files the first week of February. The poor man's going to fall over. Because in 2024, I filed my taxes December 30th. And he said, you can't do that. And then last year, I filed them in September. And he's like, you shouldn't be doing this, because the corporate taxes where I am, the cutoff is June 30th. And personal taxes is April 30th. So I'm always way late. And he's like, no. So I'm doing that. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let me see if I missed any questions on. Yeah, Junior says, I love winning on Instagram. Yeah, me too. Now, so what I want to talk about is the finding. So where you find your giveaways. So this is where it's fun, in that you need to find the site that you like. So I've talked about Sweepsheet. I've talked about I Win Contest, but there's so many more. There's Sweepstakes Advantage, and they also have Sweepstakes Plus. There's Sweepstakes Today. There's Sweepstakes Fanatics. There's Sweepstakes Bible. There's, you notice a trend with the names. There's Ultra Contests. There's, and these are the ones off the top of my head. In Canada, we have contestcanada.net, Red Flag Deals. Contest Girl is actually Canada and the US. What else off the top of my head? Win online prizes. There's lots of sites. You need to find one that you like, because right away, that's the first step, right? Finding your legitimate giveaways. The first step is, if you find the site confusing, or you don't like the formatting or whatever it is, if you're not enjoying the first part, you need to find a new site. So there's lots of them. Go poke around, find one you like. And then also, depending on where you live, there is the locals. If you are closer to a major market, they call a major market, like Los Angeles, Chicago, Toronto, Vancouver, New York, Atlanta, Nashville, some larger, you're going to have more opportunities to win, especially to events in those cities. So the further out you are, the less locals you're going to have. So you might have to focus on ones open to just your state or your province. Because, for example, a lot of the Toronto radio stations, if you read their rules, this is open to all of Ontario. But if you're up in Thunder Bay, which is a 20-hour drive, I think, from Toronto, you're not going to be entering for concert tickets in Toronto, because you're not coming down for them, right? But you might enter for the cash giveaways, because they can e-transfer the funds or mail you a check, right? So this is why reading the rules is important. So the finding part, you have to enjoy that. And then being organized helps that. So I have a list of sweepstakes that I go and check weekly. So I have like the promotions pages of all my local radio stations. I have some influencers that I know are always hosting giveaways. For example, for the ladies that likes cosmetics, are you always following Dave Lackey? He gives them away. He gives away cosmetics. He gives away perfume, all kinds of lovely things, sometimes on his website, sometimes on his Instagram, sometimes on his other sites. So go follow him. So then I go once a week and check. Plus, specifically on Instagram, if you have tagging friends, then they're always tagging you. You can go and see what they've tagged you in, and you easily find giveaways to enter. Those I tend to do in my downtime. Nurka's been on a dry spell. Yes, I was on a dry spell. I'll talk about that. Actually, I want to do a whole video separate on it to go through all the steps. But I was on a dry spell, and I realized that I think it was time to change my email address, because I had my contest entering email address for 25 years. And even though I won 100 prizes last year, I realized none of them were a major notification from a direct entry, which I usually win a fair bit of. Because I was really surprised I didn't win Pepsi, and I didn't win an Argo from Laker beer. And now I'm wondering if those emails were blocked at the server and I was never notified. And I think that's been, I started to look back, and I did notice I got a couple of emails in March, almost a year ago. And then I'd have to go back and look to see when I got notified for the biggest prize before that and how I was notified. So it might have been a problem for a couple of years from larger things. So that's something you need to look at, because several months ago, we had a gentleman in my sweepstakes masterclass that hadn't won in 8 months. And in that sweepstakes masterclass, a couple of seasoned sweepers had also won. They just like to come and attend and help out and learn something, because there's always more to learn. We're always helping each other, because things are always changing and changing so rapidly now with the technology. Even I can't keep up with it all. It's impossible. And we peppered this gentleman with questions, and he was doing everything right. And we couldn't figure out why I wasn't winning. And in the back of my head, something niggled. And I said, what email address do you have? And he said, AOL. And I said, oh my God, they're blocking your messages at the server. I said, change to a Gmail immediately. And the next week he messaged me, and he'd already won 3 prizes. So that's the problem. The email server is blocking them, and they don't even end up in your spam folder. So if you haven't been winning for a while, because I know Nurka here said she had a dry spell, check your email address. So I'd been wondering about that, but I was still winning, right? Like I had 100 prizes last year, and some of them were okay. But then I started looking. This is where I want to do the video, and I want to show people why it's important to have a track your wins. I realized they were all like from winning on the radio, winning on Facebook, winning with a PIN code, winning on Instagram, winning on TikTok. Only a few of them were via email. That's a problem. So I've changed email addresses this year, and we'll see. Right? I did win. Now it's a big porting over, right? And I did an email. I did this when this is why I'm such a good teacher, because I made all the mistakes, so you don't have to. When I first started entering, I started using my work email. I owned my own company, so it wasn't like, some other business, but still, I started to realize it was a problem. So I started a Yahoo email address, and it took me 6 months to port everything over. And I stopped getting notifications on my work email, and I started getting them on. Now I started getting some right away, but it was a full 6 months. Because again, remember I said, if I'm entering some on like some today and it doesn't finish till the end of July, by the time that one ports over, it's going to be August, right? So it's going to take months to port. And what I'm doing is any website that I subscribe to that's always hosting giveaways, like Coca-Cola, for example, I went in and I changed my profile to the new email address. So if I did win an instant prize or something in one of the games, then it would go to the new address and wouldn't be blocked. So you're going to have to watch. It's a big project if you haven't been winning and you're changing your email address. And I've kind of naggled with it. Like I went and got a my Yahoo email address for a while and I was using it, but I think I'm going to eventually close that one down, so unsubscribe from everything and close it down. Because my thought was the reason I went to Gmail was if the Yahoo server is blocking my wins, then it's probably the same server as my Yahoo. Maybe not. I don't know. I didn't want to chance it. So anyway, I want to do a full email, a video where I actually show like the screens and, no, I'm not blacklisted. I think the words like congratulations and sweepstakes and winner are, so they think it's spam. I don't know. This is why. So Alanis is asking, does Yahoo tend to block too? So like I said, I'm getting a lot of my wins. Like if I win an instant prize, I got the notification in my Yahoo email. No problem. But what really made me flip the switch was I had won a prize on Instagram. And they said, what's your email address? I was arranging like the concert tickets and the, like it was 4 components, right? It was like with the city, it was the tourism board of the city. And I won a hotel stay, tickets to a show, a gift certificate to a dessert bar with a prize pack, and a gift certificate to a restaurant for dinner. And so they were all providing the prizes separately. I didn't hear back from the hotel, so I was having problems. And then the restaurant messaged me and said, hey, did you get our reservation? Because I was messaging them on Instagram and we picked a date and a time and everything. And I didn't get it. I was like, huh. I said, try this email address. Instantly got my Gmail because I have a business Gmail that I use because I can't have a Yahoo. I can't have a YouTube account for my business unless I have a YouTube Gmail account. So I have a business one that I don't use for anything else. It's my business Gmail. I don't use it for sweepstakes or So I just used it just to see. And I instantly got the reservation. And then the hotel, the same thing. And I'm like, these aren't even contest things. It's a dinner reservation and a hotel reservation. And I get hotel reservations usually because like I booked already for the sweepstakes convention in July. I got that hotel reservation, no problem. But this one I didn't. And I was like, huh. So I thought, that's it. And I started looking at my spreadsheet. And I turned around and I started a new account. But I've heard people say they have problems with Gmail sometimes. So I think it's time. I think it's been 25 years with an email address and things are getting blocked. So now I'm unsubscribing and I'm moving things over to a fresh account. So I think after a while, you have to do that. You have to be prepared to port everything over to a new account and do that, because a lot of sweepers I know have had to do that, especially if you have a different and like account. So for example, AOL is notorious, Hotmail is notorious. We had a fella in the last sweepstakes. Was it the sweepstakes masterclass or was it the club meeting? I've lost track. And he said he had an EDU. He was using his work email. And we went, 3 of us screamed out at him, no, you need to change it right away. He was like, okay. I will change it. Hold on. See, I'm still at the end of this. Get my vitamin C in there. My advice I'm winning on Instagram. I don't win that frequently on Instagram, but I don't enter, and I only enter like 5 or 10 depending on the prize. If it's really good, I might enter 20, and then I just let it go. And if I win, I win. I don't. I also do Instagram last. So for the big prizes, it's now there's been trips and things on Instagram, but most of the time they're smaller prizes. So I focus, the biggies tend to be online forums or part of a website where you register and sign in. Because I think like Procter and Gamble, is it Procter and Gamble? Who does Taste Good? Anyway, there's ones where you log in and you enter the sweepstakes for the companies. And they haven't had any in a while. But you know, like Coca-Cola, where you log in, or they set up a game or something and you have to log in. Like when you, in the summer, when you did the Pepsi ones, you had to set up an account and then enter the codes. And so you're logging in. I think those are better, and do those first and then enter on the social media ones. I do them last, so only if I have time, which is why I don't win much on Instagram, especially this year. I've been so busy, but I did make a real effort this December and I won 2. And I'm shocked that I didn't win anything in January, but now I'm starting to wonder if part of that was my email address. Because normally I do win something in January, and I only have won 1 prize in January, which is a little bit shocking, which kind of confirms I'm doing the right thing by changing over my email address. And that's okay, because I can make up with it, because I can just win a trip later this year, or a car, or a large amount of cash, and that'll make up for a slow January. And actually, this month isn't even over. I could win something this week. Yes. So Fa says, or Jamie says, Sweetie Sweeps, Secret Sweeps has a huge list of Instagrams, and I believe Sweepstakes Advantage does too. I think Sweepstakes Advantage has the Instagram portion on their Sweepstakes Plus part. So anyway, I focus on other sweepstakes first, and then I do that. Okay, let me just check Instagram to see if there's any questions over there. No. Okay, I'm going to go and answer the 2 questions I got in advance for this. So someone was asking about cookies. So Joyce says, why do we have to accept cookies before we can access the entry page for some sweepstakes? I don't understand what the purpose of the sponsor collecting cookies. Thank you. Okay, so cookies are what companies use to track like where people are coming from, what you're clicking on. You don't always have to accept the cookies. You can click no and still get to the site. You don't have to accept them. You can always say no. I always just click yes without thinking about it. Maybe I should start clicking no too. Now it's starting to make me wonder, right? Let me see. So you don't have to. And it's not just sweepstakes sites. If you go to a lot of websites in general, if you're just surfing the web, as they say, you're going to find that you're going to come across the, hey, do you accept these cookies? I remember entering a Dare cookies giveaway one time, and it popped up and it said, do you accept the cookies? And I screenshotted it and put it on Instagram and tagged Dare and said, really? Like laughing, like the cookie site is asking me if I want cookies. I just found it hilarious. I think I got my dad's sense of humor. Please forgive me. Oh, someone else did this too. Yvonne said, I used my work email for a while at the beginning when contests were starting to go online. The spam I got at work. Oh no, it was before I had a computer and personal email. Oh, the 90s. Oh no. Hold on. I gotta. So she's making me laugh and I was going to cough there. Oh, you've only won 1. Well, there's different secrets to the hobby. Well, first, a good sweeper is going to spend about an hour a day entering. And you're going to enter better odds sweepstakes. And you're going to be organized so you can enter the most amount of giveaways in the shortest amount of time. And you're going to use a sweepstakes site so you can find them quickly. And there's lots. If you go to my website, contestqueen.com, I have a new section on the homepage, which is called Getting Started. And that's 10 tips to begin winning. And then I have my 5 steps to begin winning, which is the top 5. But that's where I have my tracking spreadsheet, by the way. So if you click on that and go to step 1 and scroll down, I'm thinking of moving that, but right now that's where it's living. You can start tracking for 2026. Let me see. I have a feeling I missed a question. Ricky, you got to come to tomorrow night's live stream on my Words for Winning channel, because Ricky's asking metaphysical questions and mindset questions. I heard the way you design your room influences your beliefs. What do you think? Can you put things where I want my life to help me win them? Okay, so what he's asking about is feng shui. And basically, feng shui is just energy. Everything's energy. We learned that in science class. And it's the example I give is when you come into a room that's well laid out and has good energy flow, you come in and you go, ah. And if you walk into one that doesn't have good design flow, you feel a bit chaotic. It's not comfortable. You don't feel like you want to just relax there. Now there's always different constraints. Like I can only have my office set up one way based on the furniture that I have, the equipment that I have. Like I have all this, studio equipment and building constraints. Like there was an old fireplace in the house, or an old smokestack when they had an oil furnace that juts out into this room that I can't remove, that cuts off a wall. And then I have a window and a closet and a door, another closet, because they built in a closet that was a den and they had a door. Like there's literally one spot for my desk in this room. Actually, technically 2. So I have a tall shelf here. My room is extremely small. That's why I have this partition. So I have a shelving unit here. I have a desk here, a filing cabinet, and then bins with all the books that I would love to manifest a library because I have no other place to put them. So I could put the shelves here and the desk there, but then in feng shui, my back would be to the door. And you don't want to have your back to the door. You want to be able to have a sight line to the door. So if anybody comes in, they don't scare you. Or as Cliff Tan says, if you follow him on YouTube, he's hilarious. He always talks about, you don't want the birds and the monkeys coming in, right? You don't want to be startled. He's very funny when he talks about feng shui design. And he's an architect, so he's got a really unique perspective. So basically, this was the only place to put my desk. So you want to put something where it flows well. So you should do that. I've always had where people come into the home that I live in, and they always say, oh, your house is so cozy, because that's the energy that I put into the house and how I lay things out. So you can't just, put a stack of money. You can't go I'll go behind I have my money when I do my money vision boards. I haven't done one of those videos in a while, but I still have the stack of money. So we'll use it as an example. Okay. You can't take a stack of money. I have no drawer. I have only so many drawers. Look, you can't just look at my $1,000 fake Franklin movie money, right? I can't just take a stack of money and just put it around and all this money is just going to show up. How many thousands do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? What is this, like $20,000 of movie money? It says paper ancestor money. It's like just fake, clearly fake money. It says copy on the back, right? But this is clearly paper money. But I can't just put this money around and have all this money show up. Otherwise I'd just leave it here on my computer and it would just manifest into, I don't know, sales. But if you want to focus on what you want, you have to keep your eye on the prize. So if you want to win a trip, and then you have to take steps towards those goals, right? For me, if I wanted to, quote, earn this money, I have to provide value. So I create books and courses and services for companies if I want to help them with their giveaways. And so I provide value. So then I get paid, right? So you do things to, you focus on it. So my favorite thing to win is trips. So I have in my organizational system is I have instants. So anything that's giving away an instant prize goes in there. So I enter those first because I could win right now. Then I have top 10, which is all, now there's more than 10 in there, but I call it my top 10 because it's the trips, the cars, the cash, the big things that I really want to win. So if I only have like 10 minutes to enter today, I'm going to hit those ones first, right? Because if I'm going to spend 10 minutes entering, it just takes the same amount of energy to win a trip as it does, a free chocolate bar. And then I have the dailies, everything else, maybe a new refrigerator. Well, we don't need a new refrigerator, but I wouldn't say no to a new one, right? Like I don't need a dishwasher, but a new one, why not? Right? Ours is getting, I think it's about 7 years old. So, a new one, why not? Then it works fine. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to have it, but those are kind of like, if I want it, why not? So that's how you do. Then you have to take actions towards that and believe that you're going to win it. Let me see what other comments have come in. Oh, yes. So Casey, I did a video on this, how my desk space was organized chaos and I cleaned it. Yeah, it's a little bit back to organized chaos because I was ill. But the amount on here will take me, if I can just sit, I'm going to sit probably tomorrow, 10 minutes, because I haven't had that 10 minutes, and clean it up. Whereas before it would take hours and hours to clean up. So, and also my accounting for 2026, as papers come in, instead of throwing them in a box like I used to, I put them right in the file. Oh, yes. See, Casey says, so true. I used to keep a mirror in my cubicle at work so I noticed people before they startled me. That's actually a feng shui fix, is to put a mirror so you can see behind you. I'm not a feng shui expert. It's just what I've read in books, but it's always good advice to, it's not hard. You just want the energy to flow well. And there's always, he always does videos where people have a space and they're like, I have no idea how to design this. This is what I have, but I think it could be better. And he will draw it out and then he will erase it. And then he will say, do this. And then sometimes he shows the videos where they took his advice, they put it the way he said, and it looks so much better. And they're like, oh my God, everything flows better. They can feel the energy shift in their space based on his suggestions, and they can see it in real life. And they're like, this is amazing. I had no idea. Oh, Heidi says she has her funny money and a lucky green frog. Yeah, I have a little leprechaun, and I have back here, I have my little, I bought him one St. Patrick's Day. I have my little gnome. And so, yeah, I have all my little friends here on my desk. I was thinking one day it would be fun to put shelves and have all the lucky charms on there. I don't know. I think I'd have to have something with hooks that I could just hang over there. Now I'm going to be at the dollar store. You guys just gave me ideas. That's very funny. especially with St. Patrick's Day coming up, and I'm going to talk about Lucky Charms. Okay. Let me see the other question I have. Okay, so this one was from Giovanna. Okay, so she asked questions. I'm going to ask them different things. How to use RoboForm 10 or sweepstakes on your cell phone. I can show you. Is it even possible or practical on a computer? Separate from normal dry spells, how do you personally handle entering contests on a day when you're just having a bad day? Do you pause and come back to it later? Or do you push through and not let it stop you? And then, have you ever felt genuinely annoyed by a particular contest, maybe because of the entry format or how teasy it was, but stuck with it anyway and actually ended up winning? Oh, okay. So the first one, let's go to RoboForm. Okay, so this is my cell phone. I will turn it on because I have RoboForms. Now, you can get RoboForm for free. However, you need to pay for it if it's RoboForm Everywhere. And it's not that expensive. I think even without a discount, it's like $20 a year. If you go to my homepage, you can get a discount. They gave me a code that I give people because, okay, so let me just log into RoboForm. Okay, so this is my RoboForm. Okay, so it's just like on my computer. Now, logins identity. Okay. So this is just like on my computer. I have all the folders, and I don't think you can see on the computer, but it says instance, top 10, daily, weekly, right? Just like if you've taken my masterclass and I've showed you online. So let's click on my top 10. Okay, so I'm going to click on one. Okay, so it's going to go. Now, here's the problem with RoboForm, if you're using it to enter, is it has its own browser. Okay, but it did some enter and submit that. So sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so let's see what it did. It filled it out. Oh, and it auto-entered it too. Okay, let's try this one. So sometimes it's good, but here's the thing. I set up all these on my computer. I don't know how I need to sync this. Okay, so I got to sync it. I don't know how easy it is to set up contests like forms on your phone. So if you're setting them up on your computer and you're out and about one day and you have some downtime, you can easily sit and enter them, but I think it's harder to do it the other way. I also am not a fan of the small screen. Maybe it's because by the time phones got to a decent size and power, right, I had bifocals. So I preferred the larger screen. Also, I feel better not missing something like in the rules or something to click or a different section. Let me just see if there's any questions. Okay. So I think it's personally more practical on the computer, but I use RoboForm on my phone all the time. Like if I'm out and about or I can't remember a password or I need to check something or I've got an app that's logged me out, I can go to RoboForm and check my password. So it's actually super handy. I use it all the time. I do honestly think it's worth investing in your hobby because honestly, it'll pay for itself in no time. Right? Like I think it'll pay for itself quickly. I think it's worth it. It's just like you invested in good internet. You've got a decent computer. You've got a good phone. You've got a good RoboForm. You've paid for RoboForm. You pay for a sweepstakes aggregate, right? Because they they need the money to run the site. Like I said, just my newsletter subscriptions. I spend over $200 a month just for my email server. Then there's web hosting, my webmaster, like it costs money. It costs money to run all this. I mean, I had to pay for these banners. I have to pay for StreamYard that I'm streaming this on, right? When I have Zoom meetings, the club meetings, I pay for Zoom. It adds up. If you want to book a class, you book it through Calendly. I pay for Calendly. A lot of people think the internet's free, but it's not free for the people setting it up. So, and Susan said she's in Boston. Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of snow here too. I'm just outside of Toronto. Thankfully, we have an extremely long driveway. And a couple of years ago, George bought an ATV and he bought the snowplow attachment. And so now he just pushes all the snow around with the ATV and just shovels a little bit like on the patio. And then he goes around and does a lot of the neighbors' driveways too, because he's like on a machine and it's super easy. Yeah, no more shoveling. Okay, so separate from dry spells. Yeah, sometimes. Okay, so like I said, I had a cold a couple of weeks. There was days I didn't enter. My brain was not interested in entering sweepstakes. I just wanted to nap. If I did have a little bit of energy, I needed to make sure I was getting my work done. So, answering emails and getting that stuff done. And then that's all I had the energy for, and back to sleep. I didn't enter at all. And you know what? It's okay. A sweepstakes will be there tomorrow. And if I'm going to win, I'm going to win. I don't panic. I live just east of Toronto. I'm in Oshawa, Aurora. I think you're in Canada too. So I don't worry about a dry, like if I'm having a bad day. Sometimes, so there's different theories on this. Sometimes people are having a bad day and they're doing sweepstakes, and that energy is just not going to win them prizes. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes if you're having a bad day and you sit down to sweepstakes, it kind of calms you down because now you're doing something methodical. You're looking at something exciting. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm not happy right now, but boy, I could see my feet on that Hawaiian beach. Ooh, I would love to go see that show. Those concert tickets sound like fun. That would be fun. That'd be a nice date night. And then you start dreaming, right? Ooh, look at that beauty gift basket. I love those creams. That would be nice. You start doing that kind of a thing. By the time you finish, you feel better because you've just been in this like thought process of positivity and thinking things, good things, good thoughts, right? So it depends on how you're feeling. Like I said, I've been doing this like 25 years now. So like if I have a day where, like I said, it's not happening, or family obligations, like at Christmas time, we're up early. We're packing the car with presents and desserts. We're driving to go see the grandkids. George has grandkids, so we're up to see his family and the grandkids on his side. And, you're there all day. By the time you get back, it's late at night. There's no sweepstaking. I might, depending on the drive, my trick is to get him to drive places, and then I'll do the Instagram giveaways while he's driving. Smart woman. But some days there's not really any time. So it is what it is. You just do what you can. And if you start panicking, I did this a long time ago. This happened in 2000 and I want to say 2004. So I'd been entering for about 3 years, and I was like really in the hobby. Like this is before I even started writing. This was one of the trips that I won that kind of set me on the path to starting to write books. Anyway, I had this old computer that was just causing no end of problems. And I couldn't get it to connect properly to the internet. And I was getting frustrated because I was going to miss my entries for the day. And I was so frustrated. And I noticed I was almost shaking like an addict. Like I had to get my entries in for the day. And I kind of noticed it. I was like, oh, I was self-aware. I was like, oh, this isn't good. So because I was up early, there was a time difference. We'd flown to California for one of the prizes. I think my husband was still asleep. And I thought, okay, I need to go get like a cup of tea. And I only started drinking coffee when I got together with George. I don't know why I only started drinking coffee like 8 years ago. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to go get something. So I took the room key and some money and I went down and I found a coffee shop and I got a cup of tea and a muffin or a croissant or something. And I sat down and I'm like, okay. And I thought, it doesn't matter. If I'm going to win, I'm going to win. If I miss, I miss. And from then on, I didn't care. Like if I have a travel day and I don't get any entries in, or if I'm sick, or if I got family obligations, the hobby's always there. If I have the time, it's one of my favorite things to do. My favorite time, I used to do it. And here's the other thing. The hobby ebbs and flows through your life. I used to be up first thing, get Lane ready for the day, do this. I'd either get her to school and then come home and sweepstakes, or I'd be up before her and I'd get my sweepstakes in and then start the day. Now, I don't like to get up early like I used to. I used to jump out of bed and had so much energy. Now I'm like, no, we're sleeping in. Now I like to sweepstakes at night. After dinner, we're watching TV. I sit. George bought me a tray, a laptop tray. You know, my laptop there, my little mouse, cup of tea, or in this case, my orange juice, my vitamin C drink. And I enter giveaways while we watch TV. That's my favorite time to enter now. So it changes. Your hobby changes over time, depending on your lifestyle, depending on your time in your life, depending on, all kinds of things. So it ebbs and flows, and it's okay. That's part of life. This hobby, I have marketing books showing that Coca-Cola was doing giveaways as part of their promotional programs in 1910. Companies have been giving away prizes well over 100 years. This hobby ain't going anywhere. Oh, Vaughn says, I was on a cruise and they had a lottery most days. I entered almost every time, and just the thought of winning. Anyhow, I didn't win, but I enjoyed trying. You know what? I would have tried every day too. And if you win, you win. Coming to your events. Hang on. Why is this message not popping up? Coming to your events helps me re-energize. Yeah, actually, that's one of the reasons I really love the club meetings, and especially the convention. Oh my gosh. If you ever have the budget to go to a convention, do it. I don't go for the prizes because you can't guarantee that you'll win anything. There's been years I've won like nothing. I kind of don't care. I go because first, I love to travel. Second, and I used to vend if it was in driving distance and stuff. But, and last year I did drive, but I had so many prizes in my car. I didn't even have enough room for the things I would put on a vendor table. There wasn't going to be any room. So I said, no, I'm not going to bother with the vendor table. And, but so sometimes I would do it for work, shuck my wares. And I used to have an online store, and I sold all kinds of lucky things that I used to buy from all different places. I had ladybug things. I had 4-leaf clover things. I had crystals. I had my books. Then I'd have raffles. It was so fun. And I might do that again one day. But right now, no. But just hanging around the people and the energy. And I always learn something. There's always people teaching things, learning something new. And you're like, oh, I never thought of that. Even after 20 years, 25 years of entering sweepstakes, I'm still learning. That's the wonderful thing of this hobby, because you will never be bored. There's always something new to learn. That's the exciting part. Okay, so we talked about the dry spell. And then the last question was being annoyed at a contest and then somehow winning. I don't actually have a memory of that. Usually if I'm annoyed at a contest, I just stop entering. Now, I do have a story of I'm putting together a video on all my trip wins. And so before I caught a cold, I was digging through all my old photographs. I went through all the photo albums under the stairs. I was digging through old CDs. I was going through everything I could find, and I'm putting them all together. So basically, anytime I found a picture of a prize, I stuck it in there. So there are trips in there too, but I picked every prize picture I could find. I threw it in there. And then, oh, I just had a brain hiccup. I was talking about prizes. Oh, so there was one trip on the list, and I'm like, what was that trip? I don't remember winning that. So I started doing some searches, and I realized it was one that my ex, we were still married at the time. So it was one that he had won. And it was, so what happened is at the time I needed a new phone. And TELUS, which is one of the big providers in Canada. So we have TELUS, Bell and Rogers, which is like Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, right? Like, and at the time the phones were locked. So they were giving away Blackberries. This is when Blackberries were huge. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally want a new Blackberry. So I started entering this contest every day. I'd enter me and my ex, both of us, because we each had a chance. One entry per person per day. So I doubled our chance, or increased our chances of winning. And I did it for like 6 weeks. And it was running for like 4 months, this contest. So they were giving away a phone a day for like 4 months. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to win a phone. So I entered it for like 6 weeks. And then somebody said something online in like one of the groups, because there used to be Yahoo groups before Facebook groups. And somebody said something about the phone. And I thought, wait a minute. And I went back and I reread the rules, because sometimes it's easy to miss the extra clauses, because you're usually looking for frequency, eligibility, like when does it end, that kind of thing. There was a clause in there, and the phones were locked to TELUS, and I was a Rogers customer. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to, what's the point entering? Like, I can't unlock, and to pay to unlock it was extremely expensive at the time. This was like 2008. It's almost 20 years ago. Is that almost 20 years ago? Oh my God. So I didn't want to bother doing that. So I stopped. So out of a 4-month contest, I only entered for 6 weeks. He won the grand prize trip. It was designed for business people, because they were giving away the Blackberries, because Blackberries were very corporate at the time. And so he took 5 buddies, and they all went out to Whistler for like a 4-day weekend. It was supposed to be team building. Instead, they just had a good time in Whistler. And that's what he did. So I had to go and so I have no pictures of that one. But I had to go and find it. So that was kind of giving up, like, oh, I can't even win this, or I can't even use the prize like that I was going for. I was going for the daily prize, and we won the grand prize. And it was worth like 12 grand or something, the prize. It was crazy. Oh, wow. Okay. Dane says, I love sweeping first thing in the morning. I'm done before everyone is even awake. I entered 500 this morning. I hate the evening rush. Oh, Dane, you crazy person, you. Let's see what else. Okay, why are the comments stuck here? Oh, Caroline's in Australia. She says they're having a heat wave. Yeah, what's crazy is they were talking about the ice storms here in Canada and the United States, and that if the temperature drops really fast, the sap in the trees can actually freeze and then expand because it's like water, right? And it will crack and the trees explode. Well, I saw videos where the same thing was happening in Australia, but the other way around. It's been so hot in some parts of Australia that the sap almost boils, turns like to steam inside the tree. It expands, and the same thing happens. The trees crack and fall apart. It's crazy. So I saw a woman on TikTok, and half this gorgeous eucalyptus tree was on the ground because it had cracked from the heat. Crazy. Oh, yes. This harkens back to the day when you said barriers to entry. If it wants me to copy and paste 10 codes per day, most people not going to do that. I don't want to do that. But actually, one of the things that I do is I use RoboForm, and it has the codes. RoboForm actually has a notes section. I don't know if anybody knows this. I'm having my RoboForm 101 class next week. If anybody, no, that's Sweepstakes for Beginners. I must be the next week. February, I teach in February, May, and October. So there's a note section in RoboForm, and I put all the codes there. And so I just open RoboForm, and it's easy for me to copy the codes. I don't have to go looking for them anywhere. Okay, let me just see. So that's the story of how I won that one. Let me see. No other questions on Instagram. Just making sure. I know I don't like that the Instagram feed, the comments don't come in on the same section. I only get YouTube and Facebook. Don't know why. So I think that wraps it up for today. I'm also feeling my I'm getting a little dry, even though I have been staying hydrated. So I'm going to sign off. Stay tuned. My goal is to get some, at least one of the 2 videos I have planned in February. I always have my Sweepstakes Masterclass giveaway on the 2nd of every month, except for December, because December's so busy, no one would come. So you have 11 chances. You can win more than once. If you've won before, you can still sign up and win again. And there's a chance to win on these giveaways. So look in the description. You can win a book. Be sure to sign up for the Winning Edge, because all this year, every issue is going to have an exclusive giveaway. Of course it is. I'm the contest queen. And I've been working on, now that I'm feeling better, I've been working, that's the only thing that set me back. I lost a week of writing, being sick. So I'm hustling on prizes, because my deadline is to publish at the 20th anniversary of this book. So that's coming up rather quickly. So I'm working on it quick. Yeah. Oh, Cynthia says, new laptop. I need your RoboForm class again. Yes. And I don't even know how many people have signed up. I haven't even checked any of that because I've been focusing on getting everything done. So there you go. Yes, thanks. Yeah, back and better. And so the first club meeting is on the 6th next month. And so basically, Sunday, a newsletter comes out. You got a chance to win. Tuesday, my Sweepstakes Masterclass giveaway gets launched. You have another chance to win. There's no excuses. You can enter. I also give away things on my Words for Winning live streams. So you can head over to Words for Winning and watch me tomorrow night when I do Words for Winning. And I have an exclusive, I do vintage books over there. And I give away prizes there too. And eventually, once I get this one all sorted. Oh, and also, as soon as I finish prizes everywhere, my goal this year, this is very ambitious. I'm immediately going into the studio to record it for Audible. That takes somewhere between 4 and 5 months between the recording, the editing, and the producing. And then the uploading, because sometimes uploading it, it's finished and you upload it to Audible and it can take up to 3 weeks to approve. Oh, I know. I did this. I start the meeting at 7:30 and I didn't know that he was doing a class because I planned all these dates in like September or October. I met with my assistant and we planned out the first 6 months of the year. And I didn't know Tom was going to do a class on the 6th when I planned the class, the meeting. So it's at 7:30. Go to Tom's class. There's always another club meeting. Maybe we should all crash his class. Yes, so Audible. And then once I do Audible, because it helps me catch any mistakes or fix any sentences that read well but don't sound well, which is kind of weird, but I found that with some of the other books. I had to rewrite sentences because when you read it, it made sense. When you spoke it, it sounded stupid. I still don't understand how that works. No, it's 7:30 EST or just ET. I don't know. Yeah, we're on ES right now. I don't know. I lose track. Oh, like a Twitch raid. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, we love Tom. And yeah, he's written the foreword for the next book. So I'm really honored that he did that. And I have to interview him again because I'm adding a section of other teachers. So I'm having him and Di Coke from Super Lucky. And I got to talk to Rachel Rachel Travis, because I don't think she is teaching anymore, or she might only have her online class. I don't know. And then, oh yeah, there you go. Go get the free little sweepstakes starter kit. It's a little booklet and it's going to be rebranded too. I'm so excited with the new website update. Everything's green. Yeah, so we went with Royal Purple before because Contest Queen, but now we're going with Lucky Green. I think it's time for change. And there was one more teacher. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be interviewing the other teachers because it's not just me, right? And like I said, the hobby's so vast that you can learn from everybody. And I think it's good it's all boats rise with the tide, right? So I'm very excited. And then once I get the book done and it's done in Audible, then it's going to be translated into Spanish. So if I hustle, I could get 3 versions out of it this year. Depending on when the Audible comes out, depending how long the translation takes, then it has to be edited or proofed. Then it has to be edited. So it may not make the end of the year, but close. Okay, one last check on Instagram to see if there's any questions. I think I got everybody's questions for the episode. And that's all she wrote, folks. If you have any questions, send them to questions@contestqueen.com. Let's see. So I did that, and then do all the social things that I never say that you should do, because I watch all the YouTubers and they always say it at the beginning of the video, not at the end of the video. Do all the things. Like this video, like the channel, subscribe, hit the notification button. Yeah, I go in now. It's the only reason the books take that long to record is because I only go in once a week because the producer only has so much time. Plus, once I had to go in twice, and by the end of the second session, by the time I finished reading for a couple of hours, my voice was going. So really, once a week, like I talk for like 2-3 hours. I'm done. And then I have another week. So I go in once a week for like 2.5 months, and I'm reading the book. Now, this book is going to be longer than the Helene Hansel ones that were at about 200 pages. So it might take up to 3 months of me reading to record it. Then what happens is he goes and he starts listening to each chapter and he finds all the mistakes. And then he sends me the chapter and I have to listen to each chapter and I find all the mistakes. And then what we do is we sit together and we mark them all together, his and mine. Then I go back in the studio and I re-record all the mistakes. Like, and I call him the ear because he hears things and he'll go, "Oh, do you hear that?" I go, "No." He's like, "Yeah, read it again." I'm like, okay, I just trust him. And we record it. We re-record it. So we fix all the mistakes where I might have stumbled on a word. There was a noise that we didn't expect in the background. Like even in a studio, you know, once in a while his fan will kick in or there'll be a bang out in the street. And believe it or not, his microphones are so sensitive, it'll pick it up. Even though I'm in a soundproof studio, it's never 100%. I've had my tummy rumble when I've been in there so long. And he's like, you need to eat something. Believe it or not, there's mouth slurring. And he learned that green apples, has to be green, like Granny Smith apples, reduce the saliva in your mouth. So there's not a lot of wetness when you're talking. So I've started taking in chunked up green apple, and he'll be listening to me talk and he'll say, yeah, have a bite, and I'll eat some, and then I'll start talking again. Yeah, actually, he was really interested listening to Helene's stories. He's like crazy, or sometimes I'd say something and he goes, "Helene's not going to be happy with you." And we had to fix some things in the book that I found because she wrote them well for reading them. But when I was doing them, I had to fix it. And there was one book I had to flip. Actually, 2 of the books I had to flip chapters because the way the stories flowed. When you're reading the book, it doesn't bother you. But when you're listening to it, it's a different experience. So I had to move some chapters around so the flow was better. And then I had to add some things in, like in Confessions with an 83-Year-Old Sage, she just has breakfast. It's very cleverly written. She has breakfast in the morning and she starts reminiscing about her life, but her mind can take you anywhere. So there's no time difference. Like it's not, oh, when she was young and then she was a teenager and she was young married and then she had a family. No, it's whatever reminiscent popped up with whatever came to her that day. So I had to kind of make a statement in the beginning of the book that these stories aren't in chronological order. These were wherever her whimsy and memories took her that day, so that people weren't no, he's not contesting when he's editing me. Actually, he hasn't become a contester, but he might after he listens to the next book. That's really funny. So then we go and I re-record it. Then once I'm done, then he has to do his production on whatever computery thing he does to the files. I don't know. And then that takes a week or so. And then he'll tell me, come get the files. So I'll have to take like a high memory stick and he gives me like the MP3s and then the files for Audible. And then I go and I have to upload them all. It's fascinating, actually. It's a whole process. And then I have to get my web guy to do a special cover. And one time they didn't like how he did the cover, so he had to redo the cover. And because they thought he'd put a border when he didn't. It was part of the design. But to the AI that was scanning it, it decided it was a border and not part of the design, so we had to redo it. And anyway, so I'm working on the book. One of the reasons it worked out well that I had to rewrite the beginning part is I was changing it because I'm looking at it with an ear of reading it after. And I'm very excited to do it because, yeah, they cost me several thousand. Like it's cost me about $1,000 a month or so, depending on how many hours I'm there. So the books are basically between $3,000 and $5,000 each book, and I've done 4. I think I've just made my money back. So, yeah. Super chats and stickers. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have that turned on or not. I need to do all that stuff. I should be better at this monetization. You think I would be, right? I think about that sometimes. I think, would I be more on TikTok if I was in the US and was part of the Creator Fund? I don't know. I'd probably be more incentivized to be on there like every day, which would be terrible. But yeah, that's one thing. I feel like I'm not monetizing as well as I should. I also think that ties to the fact that I don't coupon very well. Like, I'll win coupons and they'll expire because I'll forget about them. Yeah, I'll have to go and look. I think it's in YouTube. I'll have to go do that. I don't know if it's in and I don't know if it's tied to, if it's different when I'm streaming from. Anyway, the other thing I need to do is I'm taking a YouTube course on vertical lives where you need to go vertical 3 times to win a prize. Of course, I'm going to do that. This counts as one of them because I'm doing both landscape and vertical for this live stream. So this counts as one. And now that I've got my voice back pretty much, I think this week or next week, I think I have to do it by the 3rd. So I think this week I might go live a couple more times and just talk about different things just to see. It's kind of interesting to learn because YouTube is going hard against TikTok because a lot of people do live stream TikToking and they earn money, and especially in the United States. So I think they're trying to we'll see. Anyway, I just read Yvonne's message. This is so funny. I hit the wrong button to monetize Facebook and it notified my relatives in Denmark. They were excited to follow my journey. I was so embarrassed. Yeah. That's the other reason a lot of people have to get separate accounts for entering sweepstakes and social media, just so they don't bug all the relatives with all the giveaways and things they're posting and crazy things they're doing. And the videos, now there's so many video contests, like post this on thing and hashtag this and at that. I see all my friends on TikTok and Instagram doing all these video posts. And I think, oh yeah, they have to have separate accounts. Otherwise, people would be wondering what they're doing. Anyway, yeah, now I'm rambling. So I'll let you guys go. I love helping people win. And stay tuned for more lives and more educational videos, like pre-recorded. They'll be pre-recorded and then just uploaded to YouTube. And I'll be trying these vertical lives on YouTube. We'll try that out. Of course, I have a chance to win. I'm going to do it. wouldn't it be neat if I could get to 100,000 subscribers and get one of those nice silver plaques? I'd figure out how to hang it behind me. Or maybe by then I'll have an actual library and I can put it on the wall. We'll see. And I'll go figure that out before I shut off my computer. Oh, yeah. Vaughn said, I got a second account and they found me and I'm blocked. Oh, no. I have different emails for that. And I actually put my name a little bit different on my personal account as than I did my business account. So good night, everyone. Send in your questions and go win stuff. I want you to report on the next live stream all the amazing things you won in February. And maybe I'll have good news too, because that'll be a whole second month of my new email address. So we'll see.